Kenya has abolished 50% divorce settlement for women. And for me, this is one of the greatest reasons why people must move back to Africa. Africa is a place where we encourage family, but we don't encourage divorce. So we don't put incentive that motivates divorce. This 50% settlement, according to the Kenyan government, is something that has just been abolished because for them, they believe that settlement has to be made for the woman and kids if they are involved. However, 50% is not the issue they are discussing right there. And Africans living in diaspora and other parts of the world have to begin seeing this as a reason why they need to move back to Africa. This is actually not favoring men. And the people in Europe, the men in Europe have complained and suffered from this. It doesn't matter your skin color, a lot of men have failed because of this 50% settlement. And that has actually pushed some women to become, trickish and to become pervasive and become abusive to men. And because men do not want to leave their 50%, cut of their wealth to women, what do? They just keep quiet and keep suffering in their marital home, which may be termed as domestic abuse. So in Africa, we encourage family. The move taken by Kenyan government is actually a good move. And some of us hope that one day other parts of Africa will also learn from that and realize that the 50% settlement given to women doesn't actually make sense. Why do we see this? We Africans who are living in Africa do not suffer from this. Though some laws have to be put in place so that women don't get cheated and children don't also get abandoned by fathers or irresponsible parents, but 50% deposits or 50% settlement is something that is beyond the bar. And you look at what is happening to a lot of celebrities in the Western world today and you bite your fingers. Some women just deliberately manage, do their possible best, get a loving husband who is rich. Then when they marry the person, the next few years, they file for divorce. And what do the Western world do? The government actually support the women. At the end of the day, they give the woman 50% of the wealth. What happened to ordinary citizens or ordinary people who are living in Europe? People who are not rich. What they do is that they tend to become homeless. Because if they own only one home, which they are actually paying mortgage on that, when the divorce issue comes, the law or the country, the laws actually fight for the woman. At the end of the day, sack the man from his own house and tell him never to step foot there. If he doesn't have enough money, he will not be able to rent a different place. What happens to him? He becomes homeless. He becomes a drug addict. He becomes somebody filled with depression. And that has killed a lot of Africans, a lot of men in Europe and in the diaspora. You have a lot of Africans today who are very good. Their women are very good in Africa here and everything is going on well. They are living and enjoying their life. But unfortunately, I'm not saying that is the case for all. Unfortunately, when some of the African men manage to move to Europe and finally they've gotten a place to stay, they fight to bring their wives with them. And when they bring their wives with them, some of the women are very manipulative. What happens is that when the person stays there or when the person lives in Europe for a few months or few years, the person begins to know the laws of Europe and realize that the law is actually supporting women and probably is also supporting divorce. What the women from Africa tend to do, not all, I'm just saying not all, you understand? What some of the women in Africa tend to do is that they become abusive to their husbands because they know when they're abusive to them, the man cannot act. And if a man ever raises his hand and retaliates what a woman does to him, he's going to jail. What happens to his wealth? It goes to the woman. If she succeeds in actually taking the man to court for divorce, what happens? She gets to keep a chunk of the man's wealth. So this has actually been, instead of something that protects women, it's actually been something that actually encourages women and throws women out of their marital homes and actually render them people who may be termed as wicked and people who may be termed as manipulative. But these are strong words, but that is actually what is happening. So it is very sad with this 50%. And as Africans, if you are living in a diaspora, it's something you need to keep looking and thinking. I'm not in your private life. I know that some people have actually moved their women from Africa to Europe, and they're actually doing well. Everything is going on well there, and nobody is abusing no one. You understand? But some have actually gotten it in a bad place, and they have actually suffered it. So before you move your wife from Africa to Europe, you need to actually study very well and think about it. Another thing is that as African living in the diaspora, if you are ever living over there and the laws are not favoring you, the country laws are encouraging divorce, and you are looking for a beautiful, feminine, submissive wife to marry, then Africa is the right place for you to come, because here you get to have a good woman, especially when you mingle with correct people who can suggest good people and good families to you. So it is important. I'm not saying Africa here, there are no failed marriages. There are, however, the rate cannot be compared to what is happening in the European world. And in Africa here, hardly will you ever find a woman taken to a man to in court for divorce. It doesn't happen every day. But in Europe, every single 24 hours, only God knows the number of divorces that go through the law court of the European world. So as an African living over there, if you're a woman, you need to also build a good surrounding, a good friendship, a good community of people which actually encourages you, to stay in your marital home with love and care. Not those who would just encourage you and probably put laws to actually support divorce. This is not something that must be encouraged. An African has to know what is good for them. If this is your first time here, kindly subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much. Hello guys, today I am at MALEJOR, and what you're seeing is a very vast plot of land that is located at MALEJOR. Driving from here to the airport will take you around 45 minutes, and it's so amazing and beautiful because this land is actually an estate land that is registered with a land title certificate. It is one of the best real estate firm you can see here. It is also a gated estate, and you would love to be here because this place called MALEJOR, it's actually in town because OUB and Dodowa is behind this place. So when you buy this plot of land, you are actually in town, guy. And this is just going for 150,000 Ghana cedis for now, because this is not just a normal land. This is a land that is registered with a land title certificate. If you want to buy it, just contact the numbers on your screen. They will be very grateful to welcome you. Come and view, do your due diligence before you make payments. Welcome to MALEJOR. If you are looking for an office, for an apartment, 1-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom apartment in the center of Accra, then look no further. This is actually a project that is ongoing currently. And in this project, you have 1-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom apartment in it with studio and a penthouse. So if you are looking to having an office in the center of Accra, then look no further, because this office you're seeing is actually located in the center of Accra, which is cantonment. And if you have an office in this location, it gives you an opportunity to have all the amenities in the city of Accra with a style and comfort. Because from the location of this apartment to the airport, which is the Accra International Airport, it's just less than 10-minute drive and you'll be there. It also gives you closeness to all the amenities that are in the center of Accra, and for a business purpose, it also gives you a good contact with and easy access for you and your potential customers, because having an office or an apartment located in the center of Accra is one of the most important things in business. So kindly contact the numbers on your screen to get it done.